Okay, this is the one I think. Alright, boleh nampak ni?
Kan, Prof.
Yes, sir, boleh.
Boleh.
Okay, this is the assignment 2. But before that, let me say something about your assignment 1. Your individual assignment 1, e-portfolio. You just continue with what you have been doing. Cuma what I need from you is to you can submit anytime, yeah. Your progress report, your weekly report, yeah, and you can update that anytime you want. So what I found yesterday, I think one student have submitted the assignment which was done on Wix. I think WIX. So I've seen the what I call the reflection, and I hope the rest of you will be able to do that as well. So I can monitor more or less your progress in terms of your your reflection on the course or on the lectures. Yeah? So you should be able to update. Yeah, add your e-portfolio weekly. If you have any problem, just let me know so I can look back at the setup later on. Okay, the assignment 2. This assignment is to be done in groups. Yeah, is to be done in group. Altogether, there are 18 groups that are registered. If there is anyone of you who have not register yourself to any group or don't belong to any group, please let me know. Other than Zackerson, any group who is willing to take Zackerson in your group yang mungkin mempunyai 4 ataupun 5 orang boleh bergabung. Can take the students who do not have any group yet. So Zackerson, if you're there, please contact the other group as well to find out if they're willing to tag you in as well. Okay, so the maximum is 6 person per group lah untuk ini. Alright, so let me go to the hopefully you can see this. Yeah, can you see this one? Group assessment 2. Sorry, group assignment. Sorry, group assignment 2. Boleh nampak ke?
Kosong.
Kosong. Okay, hold on. I think I can change that. Siapa? What should I do? I think I stopped sharing the other one. Okay, and share this one. Okay. Ini okay kan?
Oke.
Boleh? Boleh ya?
Boleh nampak.
Okay,
Ya.
okay. It's kind of small, but I hope you can see lah. Ada some maybe typo or typing error in the text. Jadi ini adalah your assignment 2, which is actually video assignment, 40%. But actually the two parts to it. Ada 2 bahagian. Yeah. Let me enlarge this one first. Buat. Okay. All right. So group assessment 2 or video assignment, 40%. Never mind about CLT. CL3 is the learning outcome number 3. So for your assignment, you are to form a group consists of 5 to 6 person, and I suppose it should be the same. Sorry, assignment 1 is not the group assignment. By the way, I think I confused with the other course that I'm teaching. So let me take this one out. This is not correct. Assignment 1 is actually individual assignment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So the video assignment is divided into 2 parts. Okay. The first one is a movie review. Movie review is for you to review your movie lah of your selection, pilihan sendiri. Ya. Okay, itu pertama. Yang keduanya adalah your daily communication interaction, which is 20%. Let me explain further on that. Yeah. So for the part 1, which is 20%, you or your group are required to review any movie, wayang, short or long, doesn't matter, that you preferred either in English or Bahasa Malaysia. I think that's too big. Okay. Any movie, asalkan jangan dalam bahasa Tamil because I don't understand, ataupun bahasa Jepun ke, Korean ke, agak susah sikit lah because you can't understand the language. So any movie in English or in bahasa Malaysia, and only one movie can be chosen for each group. Jadi pilih satu saja, jangan pilih lebih daripada satu movie. Sebagai contoh sini ada contohnya 17 Puasa movie ataupun Bridesmaid, something like that. Ya. Jadi pilih satu saja. Your group will have to decide which movie you want to review. Okay. Dan what you do is you are required to spot and identify, mengenal pasti, and take note of any communication problems encountered by the main actor or actress in the movie. Okay, identify problems encountered by the main actor ataupun actress or actress, the main one lah, in the movie. Jangan yang apa nama tu. Ya, bukan main actor tu tak payahlah. Right? Then suggest solutions to the problem. How, in terms of solving the communication problem. Yeah, suggest solution to the problem. You may use the sequence of the topics learned in this course to guide you to do the following. Yeah, to do the apa nama ni? Suggestions ataupun suggesting solutions to the problem based on what we learn in class. So then with your own creativity, create a video together with your group members. Okay. Right. So the first one is your review the apa nama tu, your review the movie lah. And then the second part is where you create your own video. Create a video together with your group members where the video can be a form of discussion, it can be a form of forum or talk show or movie review. So you may use creativity to insert the clip, the movie in your video or anything else lah. So I leave it to you. Depends on your group's creativity to do that. Jadi and then the rest is number 4 is the criteria for the assignment. First of all, the concept. Pertama, you will be assessed on the concept. The overall video that you come out with must have the concept that covers most of the topics in the syllabus. That we talk about. Remember, we today we're talking about non-verbal communication skills. Yeah, last week we were talking about the verbal communication skills and all that. So just an example, we do have some other topics later on, of course. Yeah? So the video must have the concept that we cover in the syllabus. So in other words, you are required to spot or identify most of the communication problems that happens in the movie ataupun drama lah, whatever I call it, yeah, and align it with the topics in this course syllabus. Then second one is the content, yeah, content of the video. So the video must have the following content. Number one, communication problems where you can clip the movie parts and put the video, put it in your video lah. Okay. And then number two is the solutions that you and your group suggested. Okay, so that's the content. Then part C, this is to evaluate your teamwork and your contribution. So the teamwork must be shown in the video, at least with the participation of all group members in the video. Yeah, so I know the problem with one of the problems that you may counter because of this PKP and you are living, in different places. But you can make use of the technology yang ada lah, gunakan online discussion, but make sure that you record that, yeah, in terms of video later on, yeah? Recording of what you're doing, your group discussion dan sebagainya. Okay, so the teamwork must be shown in the video, at least with the participation of all group members, yeah, in the video that you are going to share with me. Yeah, so that's the minimum lah. So if you can do more than that, it is of course much better. I am quite sure you are more creative than me in terms of creating a video. What I've done in my video is just lecturing, yeah, giving talks and giving my lecture, but I'm quite sure you can do much better than that. The other part is on the organization. This is sorry, that's part related to the video tadi. The organization includes the arrangement of the video from front to end, yeah. Transition between the clip, clarity of the audio, and also other supporting elements, yeah. Contohnya with some diagrams ataupun pictures and so on. So all group members are required to be, as mentioned earlier, to be part of the video. But how you do it depends on your group creativity. So the length of the video should not exceed 10 minutes. Yeah, try to limit the length of the video, the discussion, the forum that you organize. Yeah, with regard to the video only, with regard to the movie that you are trying to identify communication problems itu and come up with solution. So you may use English or Bahasa Malaysia, or even a combination of both in your communication between yourself. Yeah, and the video is also permitted. I don't quite mind because I can understand both lah. Cuma kalau dalam bahasa Mandarin, I may not be able to understand. Okay. Itu part A tadi lah, berkenaan dengan your movie review, right? Your movie review. The second part is that this is your daily communication interaction. So if each of you are required to share a video about you and your group experiences, communicating with your close families, distant family members, friends during this pandemic. Macam mana kamu berhubung dengan rakan-rakan, dengan family members, yeah, during this pandemic. So each one of you will have to share, yeah, parts of your video lah, more or less recorded, yeah. So you may list out the challenges and also the solutions that you and your families do to enable the communication, to enable effective communication, I should put, during this pandemic. Okay, so what are the challenges and how do you solve it? So all of the group members are required to be part of the video as well. Jadi dua-dua video lah. Yang second one ni is about communication, your personal communication with your family members and so on. Yeah. So each one of you will contribute. How you want to do it, it depends on your creativity. I leave it to you on that. Yeah. Again, this video, the second video, it should not be more than 10 minutes. Okay. And also combination of English and Bahasa Malaysia is also permitted. Jadi itu dua your last assignment, yeah. Your second assignment. So the your assessment rubric are here for you to that I'm sharing with you, so that you know how you are going to be assessed, yeah, in terms of the your assignment. All right. So this is more a guideline. Jadi, when do I expect that to be in? Well, the deadline for both assignment is on week 13. Week 13 specifically due on the 5th of January 2022. Sorry, my apologies. Bukan 21. Ini macam tak ingat masa ni. 5th January 2022. Okay. Jadi take your time. You still have a lot of time to prepare for this. Organize meeting among your group members, and then decide on what you want to do. Okay. So any question on this one, assignment 2? Tak ada soalan?
Ada, Prof.
Tak ada.
All good.
Okay. All right.
Untuk
Okay.
video saya mesti tunjuk muka ataupun boleh
Kalau boleh tunjuk muka lah untuk video. Tapi kalau tak dapat, I can understand. Some of you may have problem with internet line and so on, so may not be able. But at least dalam video tu kan ada at least your name will appear on the screen and so on kan. So I think it's okay to do that. But as much as possible, kalau boleh tunjuk muka lah. For example, if you have a meeting, discussion among yourself, with regard to the movie dan sebagainya. Hopefully you can record Zoom ataupun whatever else, ataupun gunakan saya ni I'm not that good actually to be honest with you. I'm familiar with Zoom and I can use Webex, but also Google Meeting pun okay, whatever else yang kamu boleh gunakan. Yeah, I think you guys should be better than me. Yeah. Okay. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Pasal assignment 2 tadi.
Yeah.
Yang assignment 2 tu seorang dalam group member tu buat seorang-seorang dulu. Lepas tu combine. Macam tu je ke, sir?
I think so.
Kita
That would be one way of doing it lah. Yeah.
and
So
yang untuk assignment 1 tu, sir, dalam satu movie tu kena cover semua topik ke ataupun the most yang ada dalam tu?
no. I mean, as much as possible, but I don't think you probably cover everything lah. I mean, all topic lah. Cuma sebahagian daripada topik yang relevan saja. Ya. Contohnya non-verbal communication problem, for example, ya, ataupun verbal dari segi speech dan sebagainya. So it may not include everything lah, cuma focus on the important one perhaps. Yeah. Back on the assignment 2 tadi, the second part, part B tu, your daily communication interaction tu. I leave it to you. I'm just saying you can, each individual person will contribute, but at the same time, you can be more creative. For example, you can interview your friend, right? And to find or with regard to the problems of communication between him or her with family and so on and so forth. That would be another way of doing lah. Jadi saya suka kalau diberi peluang kepada pelajar untuk apa nama tu to be to do their own way, to be creative, yeah. As long as you more or less stick to the the main objective of the assignment tu lah. Okay? Boleh?
Boleh, sir. Boleh. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
You just look at it. Now, if you do have any further questions later on, you can ask me. All right? Okay. Thank you, Anis. Anis Maliki. Macam nama anak kawan saya ni. Anis, by the way, where are you from? Anis Maliki.
Siapa? Anis, sir?
Tak tahulah nama dia dekat dekat skrin dia, nama dia Anis Maliki.
Saya dari Pahang, sir.
Oh, Pahang. Okay. All right. I got a friend whose name is Maliki, but not from Pahang lah. From Sarawak. Anyway, thank you very much, Anis. Is that your real name or that's your nama samaran?
Tidak, nama saya Anis je. Maliki tu ayah saya.
Okay. Anis, right?
Yes.
That's your name.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Any more questions with regard to the assignment?
Untuk
Kalau
yang
tidak,
assignment 1 tadi tu, sir, yang for the reflection,
yeah.
kami perlu bagi sir link tu personally kah? And sir akan check.
Yes. What you do is you go. Let me share that again. See what assignment. There's a group assignment. Mana tadi? Assignment 2. Kejap. Okay, this is assignment 2. Okay. All right. Assignment 1 tadi. I tell you what I've done. Okay. So what I've done is setting, edit setting. Okay, this is what I've done. I have allowed you to submit, starting from 5th. Before this, patutnya saya buka lah sebelum ni, but I did not do that. From 5th November, and in other words, since last week, since last week, you boleh submit. And then the due date is, of course, the latest is 10 January lah. Jadi, so you can submit anytime in between these two dates ni, between 5th November sampai 10 January. So you can, in terms of submission setting ini, what I've done is okay, kejap. Boleh nampak kan? Sorry. Oh, maybe I didn't
Sir
share.
tak nampak.
Apologies. Ini susah sikit. Kejap. Let me share that. Don't know which one I shared just now. Maybe stop sharing the previous one and start sharing now. I think this is the one. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, this is what I have in the system. What I've done is so availability, you can allow submission from 5th November hingga 10 January 2022. Then I also have done something with the submission setting lah. Jadi you can submit anytime, unlimited, maximum attempts tu unlimited. Maknanya kamu boleh update from time to time. If you have submitted, you still can access what you have submitted. Itu maksudnya, right? So it is an individual assignment, but you need to provide the link lah, right? So let me show you later on how that is done. I think one person have submitted, and I thought that was quite successful lah. Right? The rest are some of the things that I put, such as grading and so on. Never mind about that. So, okay, so that's right. So basically that's the one, and then I go to the. If I want to look at the assignment, I click on here, right? Then so far I have 3 people who have submitted. Not sure whether you can see this also. Boleh nampak ke tak nampak ni? Grading summary. Tak ada.
Boleh nampak.
Boleh, ha?
Boleh.
Okay, this is what I see lah. Jadi kalau saya nak tahu siapa yang telah submit, I can view all submission. Okay. Jadi so far ini belum submit lah. Let's look at the one who have submitted. Jadi saya minta permission from the students who have submitted so that I can just show them example of this, ya. Sekejap, we identify the one who have submitted. Okay, belum ada submission. Belum. Okay, so contohnya Muhammad Hafiz bin Abu Bakar sudah submit on Tuesday, yesterday, and Zubir pun selepas mendapat maklumat tentang submission tu lah. So what I do is I can see what you have submission if I just click on grade here, right? Zubir, saya minta maaf ya. So you can see what you have done is you submit through here, ya, macam you buat untuk assignment lain lah, ya. And then, okay, then I can click on that, and I can see you have to provide the link, ya. Nampak ni?
Nampak.
Okay, so this, if I click on this one, I can see dia punya reflection. So I can use your example, Zubir. This is what she has lah. Saya what she has through the link. So you have to provide the link, yeah, in your assessment. Your assignment. All I need is just your link. And then I can look at your reflections itu, right? So this is what he has written. Week 1 sampai week 4. Alright? So itu macam tu lah. Boleh Faham?
Faham, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm looking forward to see your reflection. Right? So let me close this one. Kalau tak ada soalan lagi, saya stop this one, stop sharing. Okay, and then we go back to our lecture. Tapi kalau ada your individual problems, yeah, you want to ask me privately, you can ask me by sending email ataupun gunakan WhatsApp personal. Okay, right. So almost 1 hour gone just on that one, but I need to be clear about what you should be doing, right? So let me share my lecture for today. It should not be more than 2 hours lah untuk going over this one. Okay. All right. So what we're doing today is on non-verbal communication skills. Okay. Apa yang dimaksudkan dengan non-verbal communication skills? Verbal tu kita tahu last week kan, and that you through words, yeah, through speech and all that, yeah. Non-verbal adalah any other form of communication that doesn't involve verbal communication. Yeah. So non-verbal communication refers to all behaviors other than the spoken word, not the spoken word, that communicate messages and have shared meaning between communicators. Okay, one very simple example is on television nowadays during waktu berita, news. There is on the corner of the television you nampak somebody doing some kind of communication menggunakan symbol, those are meant for people who are yang bermasalah dari segi pendengaran. Right, that's example. So sign using fingers, hands, and all that. Itu is a simple example of non-verbal communication. Okay, because it doesn't involve speaking and all that. All right, so we have been doing non-verbal communication whether we realize it or not. Whether we realize it or not, but that we have been doing. As far as our communication with friends, with family members dan sebagainya. Okay, so it is a process of using messages that other than words to create meaning with others, to create meaning with others. Jadi mesti ada makna, ataupun dengan sengaja ataupun tak sengaja. Okay? So it includes not only gestures and body language, but also how we utter words, including how we say the words, our tone, our vocal, those are also part of the non-verbal communication. Contohnya, we may say the word in a soft way, in a very harsh way, and so on, depending on our mood, for example. It does bring meaning. Sama ada kita semasa berkomunikasi itu dalam keadaan emosi yang stable, ataupun dalam keadaan marah, ataupun dalam keadaan senang hati dan sebagainya. Our tone, of the words we say itu juga merupakan satu bentuk non-verbal communication messages. Okay, let me start with this video before we go further. I hope you can see later on. If you can't see, let me know. Okay, boleh nampak ni ke? Types of non-verbal communication. Boleh. Okay. I just want to go to this clip movie, 9 types of non-verbal communication. Okay. Can you see this? Boleh?
No, sir.
No, cannot. Okay, then I go back. Sekejap. I go back to... Sekejap. Sekejap. Let me solve that problem. Okay, sekejap. Stop sharing dulu. Share. Optimize. Okay. Can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Just for about 2 minutes lah. Yeah. Okay. Please stop this. Oops. Okay, so just introduction to what we are going to go through today. The various types of non-verbal communication, termasuk your facial expression, your eye contact, touching, um, and so many others. Jadi, so those are things that we go through. Your gestures, paralinguistic, how you say things, the tone of your voice, and so on. Yeah, the distance between you and your the person that you communicate with. Those are some of the important non-verbal communication. Right? So let me go to this one. Yeah. So okay, let me check again. Can you see this slide? Tak nampak? Back to the notes again. Nampak ada ke tak tidak?
No,
Nampak
sir.
QR code.
Oh, tak nampak.
Nampak attendance,
Oh, okay. I got it. Let me. So I have to reload again. Stop sharing. Okay, then I share again. Okay, this one should work. Okay, so the video more or less summarize, what we're going to do today in terms of non-verbal communication. So why is non-verbal communication important? Number one, it is the primary way we communicate our feelings and attitudes. Yeah. So non-verbal messages ni are the primary way we communicate our feelings and our attitudes. Itu yang pertama. Okay. Which you don't. I mean, you don't say it out. Yeah. But people can feel it. People can see or feel or imagine or attitudes and so on. Yeah. And then the second importance of nonverbal communication is that sometimes it is more believable than the verbal messages. Kenapa ni? People may say something to you in words, spoken, tetapi I say you because I'm just talking about person in general lah. So the person may say something, but his body language or her body language may mean different thing. So in that sense, sometimes the non-verbal communication or messages tadi are more believable, boleh dipercayai daripada the verbal messages tadi. Particularly bagi orang yang suka bohong-bohong lah. So people can see whether you really meant what you say ataupun tidak. And also non-verbal messages also work with verbal messages to create meaning. The combination of the verbal and non-verbal messages itu membawa makna yang lebih meanings, more meaningful in terms of the messages tadi. Digabungkan antara verbal dengan non-verbal messages. And also it helps people respond and also to adapt to the people who communicate with them, right? Helping people to respond and also to adapt themselves to the person who they communicate with. Okay. And also non-verbal messages play a major role in interpersonal communication. Whether we do it intentionally maksudnya sengaja, or kadang-kadang tidak sengaja. There's so many things that we do without realizing that it also brings messages to the listener or to the audience, for example. Putting one's hand inside the pocket, for example, when speaking. It brings certain messages. Folding your arm, while communicating with another person, that could be a sign of being defensive dan sebagainya. Right? Tapi itu kadang-kadang kita lakukan, secara instinctive, without really knowing that we did it, not on purpose. Tapi the message that people get is ianya membawa makna yang berlainan, memberi makna yang tertentu lah. Okay? Tapi itu juga bergantung kepada budaya, di mana kita berada. Kalau kita berada di negara barat, mungkin cara-cara tersebut maknanya mungkin berlainan daripada apa yang dianggapkan di negara lain seperti di Malaysia, di Indonesia dan sebagainya. Okay, so it depends, bergantung kepada keadaan. Okay, we'll look at that later on as well. Okay, so there are some principles of non-verbal communication. And by the way, verbal and non-verbal tadi, keep in mind that the verbal communication as well as non-verbal communication are interconnected. Ianya berlaku serentak. It occurs together, dilakukan. The speech is something that you, ataupun the spoken words tadi, that's the thing that you do intentionally, but what happened with the body language and so on, sometimes is intended, sometimes is not intended as well. Okay, so let's look at some of the principles of non-verbal communication. Pertama sekali, it interacts with verbal messages. We have seen earlier on. So interact with the verbal messages. Contohnya your accent, talking about accent ni, if you're talking to fellow Malaysian, kita ni faham lah, kita gunakan, people said we using Manglish, Malaysian English, jadi kita faham, campur dengan bahasa Malaysia, campur English sikit, we call it Manglish. But if you talk to an American ataupun person from England, for example, and you use that Manglish accent dan sebagainya, ataupun campur-campur aduk perkataan ataupun sebagainya, it may have a problem with them, but not among us. Also, non-verbal messages complement the verbal messages as well. It helps to reinforce the meaning of the words that we convey. Other times it may contradict. Ini juga penting, kerana what we say may not be reinforced by ataupun was contradicted by our body language instead. Jadi perlu berhati-hati jugalah. So what you do, your eye contact, facial expression dan sebagainya may contradict what you are saying. Contohnya, you say that you are happy, but actually your facial expression menunjukkan kamu tidak berada dalam keadaan senang ataupun berada dalam keadaan sadness dan sebagainya. Okay, non-verbal messages also have to control in a way regulate the communication between the two person who are communicating. Sometimes non-verbal messages help to repeat, more or less help to repeat the verbal messages that is spoken. Jadi those are the things, in other words, the interaction between the verbal and non-verbal communication. As I said, it can be a substitute for the verbal messages. Contoh tadi, if you look at the berita, berita dekat television, TV3 ke, TV1 ke, I'm not sure which one, Tapi ada at the corner of the bottom right corner of the TV screen, you can see people using sign language di situ. Yeah, so it can be for those audience who have problem with hearing, that is the substitute, yeah, for the verbal messages tadi. Okay. All right. Principle number 2, non-verbal messages have to manage impression, right? To be liked, supaya orang suka kita. To be believed, supaya orang boleh percaya dengan apa yang kita kata. To excuse failure, kadang-kadang apa nama non-verbal messages juga. Yeah, sorry. Are you asking a question? Tak ada. Okay. To excuse failure, kadang kita ni mengalami masalah, contohnya failure of what you're doing, for example. Jadi non-verbal messages tu membantulah untuk more or less trying to make excuse for what we have done wrong, for example. Yeah. Kadang-kadang you can use non-verbal messages to get help, ya, untuk minta bantuan, to hide our faults ataupun kesalahan diri sendiri, right? And to be followed, supaya orang boleh mengikut kita dan sebagainya. Jadi ataupun to confirm and communicate our self image. Jadi boleh membantu, ya. Manage our impression by other people. Yeah, people's perception of you, people's impression of you, yeah, through your verbal messages tadi. For example, if you're giving a speech in a public forum, dalam seminar dan sebagainya, your use of non-verbal messages, yeah, body language dan sebagainya, vocal tones and so on, that helps, yeah, to impress, yeah, the audience, yeah, to impress on the audience as well. Okay. Number 3 is it helps form relationship, yeah, between the communicators. Okay, and also non-verbal messages have to structure the conversation between the two person as well. Yeah, boleh membentukkan ataupun menstrukturkan the conversation ataupun percakapan, ya, di antara dua ataupun kumpulan, ya, yang sedang berkomunikasi. Dan juga it can influence and deceive as well. Jadi I mean sometimes verbal messages boleh membantu untuk mempengaruhi message kita tadi, what we said, but at the same time it may be deceitful as well. Yeah, you can deceive menggunakan non-verbal communication, right? Untuk deceiving lah. Deceiving tu, for example, untuk menipu, ya, as if you are telling the truth, but actually you're not. Jadi itu one of the things regarding non-verbal communication. There's so many ways that we can use non-verbal communication untuk membantu secara positif, but at the same time, you can make use of non-verbal communication to help you to escape from a situation where it's not favorable to you, for example, yeah. Jadi it helps that way, yeah. And definitely non-verbal messages also express your emotions, yeah, through which you can express your emotions. Okay, so those are some of the principles of non-verbal communication. Okay, so next is on the understanding of non-verbal communication code. Jadi kita perlu faham, ya, some of this non-verbal communication, yeah. It can be classified, and I think it was highlighted in the short video presentation awal tadi. Okay, So one of the communication codes ialah body movement and posture ataupun lebih dikenali sebagai kinesics. Kinesics. So excuse me. Yeah, the body movement and posture of your body, known as kinesics, isn't it? Yeah. So there are a few here. Emblems, they call it, illustrators, effect displays, and regulators, yeah, and adapters. Jadi I'll show you later on with a short video just to illustrate what those body movement or posture meant, yeah. Okay, so let me click on this and see if I can share with you.
Introducing the new.
Okay, you can't see this yet kan? Tak boleh nampak lagi kan?
Yeah.
Okay, we're learning. Don't worry. Let me stop the previous one and then I upload this one. Okay, now you can see, right?
Yes. Can
Boleh
see.
nampak? Boleh, ha?
Boleh.
Okay.
Dutch Lady Max Grow Packs.
Okay.
Mommy, a complete diet really helps.
That's why you have to drink this.
High ambitions are within reach with Dutch Lady Max Grow.
Sorry.
High in nutrients. Optimal growth for your child.
It's just an advertisement.
We are going to talk
okay,
about the
this is the
5 types of gestures in nonverbal communication and then let you decide whether or not you think this is practical information or something that should just happen naturally. And I have a quiz at the end of the video to see if you can keep track of which of these 5 are which. So let's get into the details. Hey there, Alex Lyon here, and as you may know, I teach college and I'm all set up to do some college videos in this time of the virus, so I thought I would use this setup to talk about the 5 kinds of gestures. And I'm working out of Littlejohn Foss's and Oetzel's book on theories of human communication. They're basing their part of the chapter on some original research by Ekman and Friesen from decades ago on the 5 types of gestures. And there is a quiz at the end to see if you were making sense. But don't worry, it's an ungraded quiz. So let's talk about these 5. The first one is emblems. An emblem can be translated into a specific verbal message. So this is a kind of gesture like the victory gesture or possibly the thumbs up gesture. It is meant to mean something specific. And the way I remember this is that sometimes you have an emblem or a logo on your clothing. And the company, the brand, wants other people to see that and recognize that. There's a specific meaning to an emblem or a logo. And the gestures that are considered emblems are supposed to have a specific meaning. Number 2 is illustrators. And these are used to depict or enhance the words that are being said. So if I am moving my hand while I say, let's move the chairs over there, that is meant to enhance what I'm saying, but it doesn't have any specific kind of meaning on its own. These are just general gestures. In fact, they're the kinds of gestures that I'm doing right now. They're very common. I would say the most common type of gesture. The third is adapters. And these are gestures used to release or display bodily tension. So if you're wringing your hands or you're rubbing your face or you're stretching in some way, those are releasing tension in the body. And I remember this by thinking of the word adapting, like adjusting. I'm adapting or adjusting my body to release the tension that I am feeling. Number 4 is regulators. And this is like a traffic cop. We're using these gestures to coordinate the flow of communication, just like a traffic cop is directing traffic with gestures. So I might, in a meeting, make eye contact to get someone invited into a conversation. In a big meeting, or certainly in classroom situations, people might raise their hand to signal that they want to get into the conversation. And then the leader or the teacher might call on them with a gesture to bring them into the discussion as well. These are regulators. We're regulating the flow of communication, just like a traffic police officer is regulating the flow of traffic. And 5 is affect displays. These are displays of emotion using your gestures, but they also frequently include facial expressions. So affect is a word we use to describe an emotional display, typically on the face, but gestures can do this alongside facial expressions to bring it to life. So you might have your hands up while you look surprised, and in combination, those things communicate surprise or any other kind of emotion. So those are the 5 types. Now we're going to take an ungraded quiz to see how you do. So I'm going to show you some collections of photographs, and you tell me which gestures you think these are. And they're all around one type. So you're going to pick from the 5 multiple choice options here. So here we have someone raising their hand, a teacher calling on someone, friends inviting you over with a wave. What kinds of gestures are these? 3, 2, 1. They are regulators. They're regulating the flow of communication. Like, I want to talk, or yeah, come on in and talk. Just like a traffic cop regulating the flow of traffic, regulators get people in and out of the discussion. Okay, let's go on to the next collection. Here we just have some general gestures, including Boromir's circle gesture that he made famous when he says, one does not simply walk into Mordor. But even the circle gesture does not mean anything specific. We're just using these kinds of gestures to emphasize a point. So what are they? 3, 2, 1. They are illustrators. Whatever you're saying, these are the kinds of gestures that enhance it and emphasize what you're saying with your words. Let's go on to the next group of photos. So here we have a heart, thumbs up, a hang loose sign, another thumbs up, and a victory sign. And these are 3, 2, 1 emblems. So just like a logo on an item of clothing, these are meant to communicate something specific. And you might say, well, the thumbs up gesture means different things in different places, as does the V, the victory, could mean peace. It could mean the number 2. It could mean victory. But the intention behind this gesture is meant to be specific. So they're trying to communicate something specific to the other people. The next group, rubbing the temples, stretching and wringing the hands, stretching out the body. These are 3, 2, 1 adapters. These people are adapting or adjusting their body to release the tension in them. And there's only one left. But what are these groups? They're all doing something different, but they are all communicating something similar overall. They are 3, 2, 1 affect displays. So they're showing emotion, combining their facial expression plus their hands. There's frustration, there's surprise, happiness, shock. And someone might say, well, all of these gestures really display some type of emotion. And that's true to some extent, but affect displays are specifically designed to display emotion. That's how we can tell the emotional experience of the person. And they almost always are combining the hand gestures with facial expression. So here are the 5 one more time. Emblems, they mean something specific. Illustrators, just a general gesture. Adapters, where we adjust our body to release that tension. Regulators, or regulating the flow in and out of communication in a conversation. And affect displays. So question of the day, do you think that knowing this information is practical and that you can now use this in public speaking or a conversation? Or do you think that you should just let this happen naturally and you shouldn't think much about your gestures as you communicate? I would love to hear your point of view in that section below the video, and I look forward to reading those comments. So until next time, thanks, and I will see you soon.
Okay. Any comment? Do you like the video? I think it's very good. Yeah. Well explained in terms of the body movement ataupun postures or gestures, as they call it. Do you use this every day? I'm quite sure you do, right? Whether you're talking to your parents, whether you're talking to your boyfriend or girlfriend, or whether you're talking to your boss or whatever, yeah. Jadi depends, ya. you're trying to emphasize some points and all that. Yeah, using emblem, they're using illustrators, regulators to regulate communication, and adapters, yeah, stretching up and so on. Yeah, just to adapt to the adapt your body to the stress and so on. Okay. Any comment? Tak ada. Kalau tak ada, kita move on. Move on to the next slide. Some examples, just to reinforce what we have seen in the videos now. Facial expression, for example, can convey emotions and reaction to the speaker or the person who's talking to you. And also positioning of fingers, hands, arms, feet, and leg can also convey level of agreement or this whether you're interested or not interested in the conversation ataupun communication tadi. Also body language, body leaning, for example, forward ataupun backward, yeah, can indicate level of interest or aggression. Jadi depends lah. Kalau you sorry, you can't see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know what's the problem. Let me solve that problem again. I'm a problem solver today. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. We've gone through this, we've gone through that. Okay. I was talking about this just now, this slide. Yeah? Nampak kan?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Question? Comment? All right. Okay. So facial expression, for example, can convey emotions and reaction to the speaker or the person who's speaking to you. The way you play with your fingers, yeah, positioning your fingers, your arms, your hand, feet, leg can also convey certain level of agreement ataupun whether you are interested in the conversation ataupun tidak, yeah. That brings some messages as well. In terms of your body, whether you lean forward ataupun you lean backward, yeah, also indicate the level of interest ataupun aggression, whether you're interested in the communication, in the conversation ataupun tidak, ataupun you are being aggressive, yeah. If you're being aggressive, you tend to lean forward, of course, yeah, not backward. If you're not so interested, then you are like leaning backward, yeah, to show that you are not quite interested in the conversation ataupun in the topic of that you are talking about, yeah. Okay, so these are some of the body language tadi, yeah. The second one, this is quite important too, yeah. Eye contact. How many times have people told you about the importance of making eye contact when you are talking to another person, whether it is one-to-one, whether it is one to small group, or to a large group of people? Eye contact is very important. Yeah, it brings a lot of meaning ataupun messages. Yeah, that reminds me of certain individual. I will not mention the name lah, but a very important person, and as far as the state of Sarawak is concerned. By the way, it's not tak ada lagi lah. He's not in the service anymore. But it reminds me of him, who in any speech that I observed this many times, not just one, yeah, that the person, when he talked to the public, he looked up to the ceiling instead of looking at the crowd. You know, I don't know why, but that is his style maybe. But to me, if you don't maintain eye contact, maknanya to some people, you're not interested in them. That would be the obvious thing, showing that you're not so sincere. Maybe you are not interested in the person that you're talking to. And there's so many ways of people interpreting that. Tapi saya rasa itu merupakan satu yang tabiat orang katakan. That's the way he has been doing it. So that's how he behaved. Unfortunately, to some extent it is unintentionally, but as I said, it brings certain messages, yeah. So kadang-kadang orang kata ni sombong lah apalah, tak mau tengok muka orang, mata dan sebagainya. Okay, jadi eye contact is very important. Yeah, it has this cognitive function. In other words, give cues about your thinking, about your thought processes. Yeah, cognitive function. Function yang kedua adalah monitoring function. The eye contact also serve the monitoring function in the sense that it can, the idea is to seek feedback from the audience or from the person that you are talking to, whether the person is interested in what you're talking about, whether the person is understand or faham apa yang kita sedang sampaikan, message tersebut dan sebagainya. So that's the eye contact. Yeah? And sorry, why am I? It's supposed to be okay. I pressed the wrong thing. Seek feedback, and then the other function of eye contact is regulatory function. Regulation, yeah, regulatory function to regulate, yeah, the communication, yeah, manages the flow of communication, yeah, melalui eye contact. Okay. So, for example, if you are the teacher, for example, dalam video tadi kan, you look around in the classroom, yeah, so that you can identify who is the next person who's interested to ask question, and so on and so forth, yeah. So, regulatory function. Another function of eye contact is expressive function, and this is where you express your emotions, you express your feeling, and express your attitude as well. Okay, jadi banyak sebenarnya, walaupun kita nampak just through looking at somebody's face, eyes and so on, it has a lot of functions actually, right? But as I said, there's some people who just could not look in another person's in the eyes. Apabila dia bercakap, dia memandang ke tempat lain, ke tepi, ke kiri, ke kanan, ke atas, sebagainya, but not to the person that he or she is talking to. Yeah. So a reminder for you later on, as a student, okay lah. But when you go to the workplace later on, keep in mind about the importance of eye contact. Yeah. Cara-cara. Tapi again, it depends on the culture as well. Kalau in most culture, that's alright. Yeah, eye contact serve that purpose. Tapi ada setengah culture, minor cases, yeah, di mana if you look at somebody is in the eyes, that can be considered as rude or something like that. But that is something which is we can consider jarang-jarang lah pada tu, but in most cultures it is acceptable, yeah, eye contact. Okay, so what are the importance? We talk about the functions just now. So what are the importance of eye contact? Right, several importance. Number one, it is used, yeah, it is a part of or important part of using effective communication skills. Yeah, satu cara. Yeah, eye contact ini can reinforce. It can help to, as I said just now, manages the flow of communication, right, and so on. Yeah, showing interest to get feedback from the person you were talking to, dan sebagainya. Okay, so it's important part of effective communication skills, and people are more likely to comply when more eye contact is used. Jadi This is based on studies lah, ya. Yang melihat bahawa eye contact adalah penting, ya. And also actually eye contact ni berlaku between mothers and baby, for example. It started when you were young. You maintain your eye contact with your mother, you establish eye contact with your father, with your sibling, dan sebagainya. Okay, so it establishes a connection between the person, okay, between the person who are communicating. And also eye contact also tells us that whether the person is interested, paying attention, ataupun tidak. Right? If you are in a classroom, fortunately we don't meet in a classroom, but if we are, then I can tell who are the students who are interested in my lecture, in the topic that I deliver, ataupun tidak. Because I've seen in classes over the more than 20 years of teaching at universities, there are students who fall asleep, tidur dalam kelas, banyak kali berlaku. And then students who, are playing with their handphone and so on, macam-macam lah gelagat manusia ataupun student dalam kelas. So but there are the majority of the students are paying attention, so they look at you when you speak and so on. Jadi so maintaining eye contact itu penting. So I look at the students and see if they are paying attention or not. Okay. Jadi so eye contact tell us whether the person is paying attention or not. So maintaining eye contact during communication will make your presentation much more effective. Much more effective. Itu kepentingan eye contact tadi. Perkara yang kecil tetapi membawa makna yang mendalam, ya, dari segi the importance of it, ya. Okay, please, so make sure if you haven't done it before, we can learn how to do it. Yeah, make sure that you maintain eye contact. Okay, what else? Facial expression is very important. Yeah, your face. Yeah, your face, expression on your face. Despite of what you say, despite the spoken messages or words and so on, the other thing that is of interest is also facial expression. Your facial expression brings a lot of meaning. Okay, for example, surprise. There is a certain, in the face that you show whether you're surprised or not. Yeah, fear, for example, you can see it in your face. Yeah. You're being disgusted, for example. You don't quite like it. Yeah, you rasa apa nama? In other words, you're not interested. Yeah, dengan apa yang dicakapkan ataupun you feel so bad about the thing. Yeah, anger, of course. Yeah, you can express through your facial expression as well. Happiness, of course, yeah, you can express your happiness through your face. And what else? Of course, sadness and so on. Yeah, jadi all this can be expressed through your face. Yeah, in other words, messages that you get from the other person that you're talking to, or you yourself. You also can express your happiness while talking to your friend or to your colleague and so on, and macam-macam lagi lah. Yeah, so be observant in a way. In other words, please try to observe, try to take note of the special expression of the person who are communicating with you in particular. Yeah. So that you know what to do and all that. Yeah. If a person is sad, then there's a way to communicate also with the other person, yeah, as well. Okay, so this form of facial expression. The other communication codes is what is known as the vocal cues ataupun paralanguage, ya, paralanguage ataupun vocal cues, ya, such as changes in voice ataupun the tone that you use when you or the person is communicating. So we can use our vocal cues, yeah, to communicate our emotions, right? If you are happy, if you are sad, if you are angry, and so on. So what the thing about paralanguage ataupun vocal cues adalah you should be aware of the volume of your voice. Yeah, I'm quite sure you have come across situations when whether it is happening in your family ataupun family orang lain, the voice used by the father to communicate with the children is also very interesting. I know of one family when I was young, and this person, the father, I don't know, maybe it's just he is the kind of person yang suka marah-marah, nothing that the children do is right and so on. So dia suka memekik-mekik, you know what I mean? Shouting and all that, blaming the children, yeah, marah dengan anak sebagainya in a loud voice, so other people in the other room or some distance away from where they were talking could hear. Ya, jadi that's the kind of thing. So you have to be aware lah. Kalau nak apa nama raise your voice and so on, at least be aware of the environment in which you are doing that as well. Yeah. So be aware of the volume of your voice. For changes in volume can indicate emotion and may send a negative message as well. Okay. Jadi cakap tu biarlah cakap dalam mengikut keadaan, ya. If you raise your voice all the time, kind of interesting also. I do have a colleague. In a normal conversation, he speaks very nicely, but sometimes when he was delivering a speech or in a seminar, suddenly his voice just changed. Yeah, raise his voice. I don't know for what reason. Maybe he's trying to impress. Maybe that's the reason, but it's just unusual, not quite right to me. I think I don't know if he realized or not. I wanted to give feedback to him, but I don't feel nice. Takut salah faham nanti, ya. Nanti dia pula marah dengan kita for giving the feedback to him. Anyway, so they just be aware of that, ya. Contohnya, let me share again a lot of movies, a lot of videos in this lecture today. Let me share with you just example, yeah, video on Bridesmaid movie. Okay, hang on. Let me stop sharing. I'm sorry. I have to click on this first and then stop sharing. You can't see that yet. Wow, what is this? A sign? I didn't know I have to sign. No. No, I don't think that's the right thing. Yep. Wow, that's interesting. Wow. Kejap, you don't see this? Let me check. There's something funny. That even watching this movie also requires that you declare your age. That's quite interesting. I forgot my password. Okay. All right. Okay, stop. Okay, alright. Tak nampak lagi kan? I'm trying to show you, share with you the movie. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Siapa yang pernah tengok wayang ni, just bear with us lah. This is a film on Bridesmaid, but you can see in this movie some of the actions and also the non-verbal messages that we're talking about.
Will you be my maid of honor? Of course I will.
Annie, thank you so much for bringing us here.
It's delicious. To my bridesmaid, the most beautiful. You're so pretty. You're so cute. Fabulous.
Blue and blue. It's like looking in a mirror.
Kind of. Bunch of bitches. The bride could ask for.
I can't wait to be married and to have kids.
The other night, my youngest said he wants to order a pizza. I said, no, we're not ordering pizza. He goes, Mom, why don't you go and fuck yourself? He's 9.
I wanted to come over some ideas for the bachelorette party. Las Vegas, strip club, Disney World.
Female Fight Club. We grease up, beat the shit out of her. Surprise! The dress is so pretty, it makes my stomach hurt.
We got food poisoning from your restaurant, no? Maybe everyone's pregnant. Congratulations.
You have a date for the wedding?
Oh, yeah.
I think maybe we're on different rhythms here.
Bing bong. Soup's done. No, it's not.
Just want to thank you for selecting me as your maid of honor. I know you had some other choices.
Sounds like you were jealous of her.
Billion. I feel I can communicate with you with simply a look. I'll just say this. I want to apologize. I'm so sorry for how drunk you got on the plane.
You cannot be up here.
This plate is very strict.
Auf Wiedersehen, asshole. I'm very sorry for being so aggressive on the court. I'm sorry for making fun of your shoes behind your back. What's wrong with my shoes? They're really ugly.
We're gonna get with all these men. This is gonna be a damn fuckathon. You wanna get back in that restroom and not rest?
Nope.
You feel that steam heat coming? That's from my undercarriage.
Okay.
Stop winking. I'll stop winking.
Okay. Hold on. My apologies. If any of those clips in the video tadi agak mengganggu. But the idea is to show you some of the vocal cues, yeah, paralanguage and so on, yeah, used by the actors or actresses in the video today, yeah. So yeah, just to share, yeah, some of those things that we're talking about, yeah. The facial expression, the volumes of the voice, and so on. So it can mean it can express your emotions, yeah, so on. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to this one. Stop sharing that, and I share. All right, so we're back to lecture. Eh? If you can't see, let me know. All right, so vocal cues help us to manage our conversation, right? Managing our conversation between two persons, between group of persons, and our use of silence also speaks volume. Whether we just don't say anything, we just stay silent and so on. That is also a form of messages as well. Yeah, being silent could mean different things. Yeah, one, you may not be interested in the communication. Second, silent meaning you pay attention to the conversation. That could also be the meaning behind the silence in the conversation as well. Ya, jadi we have to be aware lah what the message is as far as the non-verbal communication, facial expression, vocal cues in particular. Yeah, if people are angry at you, if people are nice to you, and so on. Yeah, friendly ataupun tidak. Yeah, you can see it from there. Paralanguage ataupun vocal cues tadi. Okay, any questions so far? Otherwise, we go and continue with the next one. What time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock. Okay, we should be done in before 11 o'clock. Okay, the other one is, the other communication code is proxemics. In other words, this is talking about space, yeah, space in between two communicators, right? So there is a such thing as known as the intimate space between very two close person, personal space between two friends, for example, and social space between workers and so on, and public space. Right? So different situation, yeah, may require space ataupun distance between the person who are communicating. I'll show you later on. Yeah. So each culture has its own proxemics, yaitu space, the zone in which interpersonal communication or interaction takes place. Yeah, so not to be too close, not to be too far, for example. Yeah, certain culture doesn't allow you to be too close. Certain culture, they even embrace each other, hugging each other, and so on. Okay, so the amount of personal space needed when having a casual conversation with another person usually varies between 18 inches to 4 feet. Ya, untuk 4 kaki, 1 kaki setengah hingga ke 4 kaki jaraknya. We're talking about jarak di antara communicator ataupun orang yang berkomunikasi. Okay. So on the other hand, the personal distance needed when speaking to a crowd of people is usually around 10 to 12 feet. Jadi for very personal communication, intimate communication, it can be as close as 1.5 foot between the two individuals. Okay, this is based on Edward Hall's classification of spatial zone. Right? So for intimate relationship, for example, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, for example, a very close relationship dengan anak dan sebagainya, that can be close as well, yeah. So distance can be intimate, yeah, close, as close as very close, up to 1.5 feet apart. And then if it is a personal relationship, that kind of space, yeah, personal distance should be between 1.5 feet to about 4 feet distance, yeah, when you're talking to each other. In a social relationship, and this is where you may be talking to your friends, a group of workers, or among, for example, managers dan sebagainya, yeah, just doing some talking and so on, yeah, discussion. The social distance is about 4 to 12 feet, yeah. Jadi it ranges from that kind of distance. In a public relation kind of situation, normally it's even farther apart, yeah. As you can see in a presentation, in a seminar, or in a meeting, sometimes the person who is doing the presentation is standing maybe quite a distance away from the audience, or from the public whom he delivers the message to. Okay, jadi perlu ada space between, appropriate space. That's what I'm talking about. The proxemics, yeah, the appropriate space between the communicator. Kalau you kenal sangat orang tu, makin lebih dekat. But if you don't know the person, you may take a little bit of space between you and the person that you're talking about. Okay? Any question? All right. So that is also a form of nonverbal communication as well. Yeah. Also make the distance between you and the speaker. The other communication code is the territory. Territory kuasaan sendirilah more or less, ya. Territory. So territoriality, by the way, is the study of animals, including humans lah. How we use our space and objects to communicate occupancy ataupun ownership of space. How is this? Have you ever seen a dog peeing, kencing, especially the male one lah? Yeah. For those who have dogs, some of you may not have dogs. Tapi ada animals also doing quite the same thing as well, secara natural. Yeah. That is a sign of marking their own territory. Yeah. Indicating that he has been there, so other people not claim the space. Yeah. And so on. Okay, so territorial markers, for example, a thing or action that signifies an area has been claimed, as part of his or her territory ataupun the animal's territory as well. Contohnya di sini ya, this baby, she put her hand on the other seat, right, indicating that she owns the place. She may reserve it for her mother ataupun her sister dan sebagainya. So nobody should go there or should sit in that chair there. This is what I'm talking about. Animals, dog. Yeah. So she marks territory as well. Jadi in our non-verbal communication, that kind of thing also indicate or bring certain messages. So in other words, if you see that kind of things, don't bother to ask for the seat because that means that it is being reserved ataupun dia tidak suka kita duduk berdekatan dan sebagainya. Okay, some people put bags, some people put books, so on, on the chair. Sekarang ini kalau dulu musim pandemik ini, people put tape, tape to mark X where you are not supposed to sit, dekat situ lah. But that is for health reason anyway. Okay, so it's important, for you to also take note of the boundary ataupun territory tadi, Okay. And then the other communication code is what is known as haptics, iaitu touching lah, touch. Haptics, how you touch people, whether you're touching people or not, and what meaning does it bring to the person, for example, right? So we use touch for specific circumstances. We don't normally do that every day, particularly if you are meeting somebody who is a stranger whom you have never met. You don't normally touch the person, so we use it for specific circumstances. For example, when we ask someone to do something for us, so we pat him on the shoulder or on the back and so on, dan macam-macam lah cara kita buat. Or when we share rather than ask for information, that we also do some, touch ataupun touching somebody's part of the person's body, hands, the shoulder, and so on. Or when we try to persuade someone to do something, right? So there's so many meanings behind touching. Okay, but then again, it depends on the culture as well. The culture influence or whether or not that is acceptable gesture to the culture of the community as well. So my advice to you is before you do that, before you touch somebody, try to find out whether that kind of gesture is acceptable, particularly between men and women. Between men and men, it's okay, but in Western culture, sometimes it is acceptable, sometimes it is not. It can also mean now that people are talking about sexual harassment dan sebagainya. So by touching somebody of the opposite sex may be interpreted as doing or having some kind of sexual harassment pula. So be careful lah about touching. But it does have it does bring certain messages, ataupun meaning as well. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so touch, we use touch for specific circumstances. When we're talking about intimate topics, for example, then we may just do that. Or when we are in social settings, that we choose rather than professional setting. Jadi kalau in social setting, there is tendency most likely we may do that, but not in a professional setting. Yeah. Or when we are thrilled ataupun excited to share some good news. Sometimes we do that as well. Okay. So we're excited to share good news, something that you want to share with your close friends and so on. Or when we listen to a troubled friend. Yeah. Contohnya, a friend who has just experienced the loss of a family member, for example, then you may touch the person on the shoulder and so on and so forth, just to untuk menenangkan keadaan. Okay, but the something that you must remember. Also, you should be sensitive to cultural as well as personal preferences. Yeah, some culture may allow, may accept it, some culture don't. Yeah. Also, even in the same culture, there are people who are sensitive to being touched and so on. Ya, jadi perlu faham sikit lah. Ya, keadaan di mana if we do need to have that kind of non-verbal communication as well. Okay. Important also is your parents. Your parents adalah merupakan satu form of non-verbal communication. The way you dress, is also significant in the sense that it brings certain meanings, to the communication. So our choice of color, the clothes that we wear, hairstyles, and other factors affecting appearance are also considered a means of non-verbal communication. Okay, so appearance can also alter the physiological reactions, adjustment, and also interpretations. Now, for example, if the occasion is official, maybe official function and so on, and then you dress which are not quite appropriate for the occasion, too sexy and so on, that may not be appropriate untuk digunakan. Jadi so people may think that you are in the wrong place, ataupun sebagainya. So your appearance is also important lah, the way you dress, kalau macam-macam lah, hairstyle, rambut panjang, pendek dan sebagainya. Yeah, it has certain meanings, yeah, to certain people. Okay, so culture is an important influence on how appearances are judged. Depend on the culture. So while contohnya thinness, kurus, tends to be valued in Western cultures, some African cultures, on the other hand, relate full-figured bodies, yaitu badan uh, yang besar sikit, ya, to be better health, well, and social status. Jadi bergantung kepada budaya. Right? Western cultures prefer somebody who is slim, yeah, rather than gemuk sikit lah. Okay? But in African cultures, that kind of full-figured bodies could mean that the person is in good health, wealthy, and also of high social status. Okay, jadi tapi kita sini macam mana? Are we concerned about our body size, our appearance, and so on? Do you think?
I think yes.
Mhm. Have you had experiences, pengalaman that you want to share? I remember. I mean, I've lived long enough. In the 1970s and way up to 1980s. Being full-figured ataupun a little bit overweight was acceptable. That was the norm at that time. Yeah, nobody really care about their body. Yeah, there's no need to be slim, right? It does seems like it's much like the African cultures. Yeah, orang yang gemuk sikit, yeah, tend to be associated with higher social status, wealthier, they have money, they can buy food, and so on and so forth. Yeah, jadi it was thought that it was okay, right? But nowadays things have changed a bit lah. Yeah, I think people are also concerned about their body, their figure, and so on. Yeah, ada berubah, ya, mengikut masa. Okay, so the message dalam gambar ini is style has no size. Different people have different style, right? So it doesn't matter actually. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, parents is important lah. It has to be prepared. The way you carry yourself, the way the kind of clothing that you use, and the color. So particularly on the color. Color ni kalau ianya mengikut tempat dan juga keadaan. If you're going to a wedding, yeah, party for example, then that's all right to wear bright colors, red, pink, or whatever, right? But if you're going to a funeral gathering, then you need to wear appropriate clothing as well, ya. Janganlah pakai baju merah dan sebagainya untuk pergi ke funeral, ya. Jadi I'm just saying this because it may not be acceptable. So people may judge you, yeah. People may judge you based on what you wear dan sebagainya. So they may have certain interpretations of it. Yeah, the people reactions to what you wear and so on. Okay. All right. Next is temporal communication ataupun lebih dikenali sebagai chronemics. Ya, chronemics. Maknanya masa tu ada makna, ya. as we can see from here. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. In other words, it's the future. Today is a gift. Yeah. That's why today is called present. So we learn from the past, we plan for the future, we live in today. Anyway, so time, yeah, psychological time, emphasis or orientation on time. There's certain culture, they are very concerned about time that you have to come. Let's say if the meeting is 8 o'clock, that you should be there exactly at 8 o'clock or just 1 or 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. But in some cultures, that being late is also become satu part of the culture, so to say lah. Yeah, in other words, it's acceptable. At least at one time, people have been talking about Malaysian time. Malaysian time ni maksudnya if the meeting is 8 o'clock, so people come maybe late 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and so on. Still acceptable. But if you go to America or if you go to Japan, for example, if you are late, that is not acceptable. Yeah, not acceptable. That's part of the culture. Okay, but we're talking about psychological time. Yeah. So we talk about past, we talk about the present, we talk about the future, and these are temporal communication. Yeah. For example, formal time divisions include minutes, of course, hours, days, weeks, months, and years, and so on. Yeah. And Panama time is arbitrary. Yeah. In other words, it depends. Yeah, it can mean different things. Yeah, to different people. Yeah, as I said, Japan and Arab countries, in Malaysia or in America or in Europe, it is perceived differently. Yeah. So it very culturally. Okay, very culturally, and depends on the culture. Some are very strict, some are not so strict. Yeah. So informal time divisions are ambiguous. Yeah, ambiguous, and also include such things as forever, early, soon. Those are very ambiguous things. Yeah. If you ask somebody, please come early, that is very ambiguous. How early? 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and so on. So something like it's forever, soon. Yeah. If you ask somebody, can you submit your assignment as soon as possible? That is also ambiguous. Yeah. So it's not very specific. But sometimes it's understood. Ya, dalam satu budaya tu kita faham lah. Tetapi certain culture tu, when you say soon tu, it may mean that you have to submit it today and not tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Okay, so be very specific in terms of time. Jadi komunikasi, non-verbal komunikasi seperti ini juga penting. Ya. So it includes cultural attitudes about time as well. Yeah, cultural attitudes about time. Some people are very strict. Yeah, in terms of time. Some are not. Ya, jadi itu perlu diambil perhatian juga lah. Okay. Alright, but today I apologize to you. Saya nak gunakan Malaysian time, tapi sebenarnya certain unforeseen circumstances, ya, perkara yang tidak dijangka yang berlaku yang menyebabkan saya sampai agak lewat sedikit, ya, So my apologies on that. Okay. All right. What else do we have? So in terms of temporal communication, monochronic contohnya is a term, ya. Monochronic cultures, in a monochronic cultures, schedule one thing at a time. Jadi itu dalam budaya di mana kita menentukan ataupun schedule satu kerja at a certain time, at one time. In other words, we compartmentalize working, socializing, family and so on. Jadi kita ada masa untuk kerja, ada masa untuk kita socialize, ada masa untuk kita for family. Itu dinamakan monochronic tadi ya. So it relies on schedules, relies on schedule. So we cannot just mix all in one. Dibandingkan dengan apa yang dinamakan sebagai polychronic, polychronic culture schedule, where you have many things done or performed at the same time. Alright? So you kerja, you socialize, and then you have your family activities overlapping. That is a form of polychronic cultures. Culture atau budaya yang menentukan satu kerja ataupun tugas dilakukan pada masa-masa tertentu, ataupun dalam polychronic, this is where you have all kinds of different activities, official duties, socializing your friend, family matters, so on, overlap, dilakukan serentak. And this polychronic, it is more relaxed about schedules compared to the monochronic. Okay, so according to Jim Rohn, time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Pentinglah, pentingnya that we be concerned about time. Okay. Some people say that everybody has 24 hours, but the way we use that 24 hours is different. Some may achieve more in 24 hours, some may achieve less, depending on how you utilize your time. Okay, that is on time, time, quote tadi lah. Okay. So how to improve your skill interpreting non-verbal messages? Itu perkara yang penting, your ability to interpret the messages. Okay, seperti apa yang kita telah bincangkan ataupun katakan in 1 hour or so, all those are different form of non-verbal messages, but do we know how to interpret them? I think that's the question. So look for dimensions of meaning in non-verbal messages. You have to do that, so observe cues, immediacy clues, for example, that communicate liking, that somebody like what you are saying, what you are telling people, right? So take cues of that. Also observe arousal cues, that communicate responsiveness, that people are aroused by the things that you say, the things that you mention, and you should be, you have to look out for that as well, that people are responding to your communication or what you communicate to them. And also observe some dominant cues that communicate power. Kadang-kadang in a meeting particularly, you may notice that certain people are dominating the discussion and so on. To some extent, that will indicate the power that the person has. Setengah-setengah pengerusi mesyuarat, for example, they do this just to show their power, just to show that they have the power, they are in authority. So they just keep on talking and talking without listening to other people. Itu merupakan dominance, the dominance of the communicator. Okay, so effective or use effective strategies also for interpreting non-verbal messages, is also important. For example, one of the strategies is consider non-verbal cues in konteks, ya, melihat kepada konteks di mana komunikasi itu berlaku, right? So consider those non-verbal cues as well. Okay, contohnya gesture dan sebagainya. And also important, also not to depend on just one single cue. Satu petunjuk, in other words. Look for more, yeah? Look for clusters of non-verbal cues rather than just a single one. Because a single one could be misleading, yeah? But if you rely on one single cue or one single, gesture tadi mungkin tak betul, mungkin juga salah. But if there are clusters of non-verbal cue to rely on, that would be much better actually. Contohnya eye contact, with facial expression, with body language, all those will give you a certain meaning, yeah? Whether or not the person is interested in what you are talking, whether the person is, listening to you or responsive to you or not, and so on. Not to just rely, for example, on eye contact saja. Mungkin if you just rely on that, you may be wrong. You could misinterpret that. Yeah. Okay, consider also past experiences, ya, kita punya pengalaman when interpreting non-verbal cues. Jadi kalau kita pernah mengalami, pernah berada dalam keadaan tersebut, pernah melihat, pernah memerhatikan verbal cues, non-verbal cues itu, mungkin kita lebih faham. But if it is our first time, we may have some difficulty trying to interpret the meaning of each verbal cues, particularly if we are dealing with different culture nowadays. Yeah. Okay. So experience in terms of interpreting nonverbal communication messages. And also compare what you expect to see with what you actually observe is one way to or one strategy, to interpret nonverbal messages. Compare what you see with what you actually observe or expect to see, with what you actually observe. Okay, mungkin apa yang berlaku dilakukan berlainan daripada apa yang kita jangkakan. Okay, so that's one way. By right, it should be the same lah. That will confirm our meaning of the messages today. Be aware of your skill interpreting nonverbal messages. Some are skillful, some are not. Yeah. So if you're not very skillful, then you may have to take a step back, before you interpret. Takut salah. The idea is takut interpretation kita salah. Jadi mungkin apa yang berlaku adalah it could bring some negative impact on the communication if you misinterpret it. Yeah. Jadi if you are skillful, then it's okay. Yeah. You should. I mean, if you skill dengan experiences ini ada kaitan sebenarnya. Yeah. Those who are more experienced are likely to have better skill in the interpretation of nonverbal messages. Always check your perceptions with others. Kadang-kadang what you perceive to be A, for example, could be different than that. Yeah, so you check with others whether or not orang lain lah sama ada kita punya interpretation tadi, your perception tadi betul ataupun tidak. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Yeah. For example, if you are talking to a stranger, for example, and you see something which is unique, which is different, you have never come across before in terms of the gesture dan sebagainya, you may want to check with others who may have some earlier experience with the kind of person that you are communicating with. So just to make sure that your interpretation, the meaning that you have is correct. ataupun tidak. Ya. Alright, apa lagi? So, and also be aware that the non-verbal expression or emotion is contagious. Contagious macam penyakit COVID-19 juga lah. Ya, emosi ini adalah expression ini adalah contagious. In other words, you tend to copy ataupun what's the word? Behave, yeah, following other people. I think that's quite true. Yeah, the way you are trained, for example, if you are in America, let's say, you study in America, and so when you come back to Malaysia, for example, later on, you tend to follow what you experience in the American system, for example, in their culture, and you bring it back to Malaysia. Then here you meet your friend and so on. That friend may also behave the way you are ataupun doing the same thing in terms of non-verbal expression dan sebagainya. In other words, boleh berjangkit lah ya benda ni. Tapi bukan berjangkit dari segi apa nama kesihatan dan sebagainya. Ya, it can the way people talk, the way people behave, ya, style of talking so on, ya, boleh become contagious. Ya, okay. Any comment? Tak ada? Kalau tak ada, kita okay. And also look for cues that may communicate lying. I mean, people also, when they do communicate, sometimes they lie to you, right? So be aware of that cues ataupun gesture dan sebagainya. Yeah, whether or not people are frank, yeah, truthful, and not lying. There are certain things that you can observe in certain people who lie ataupun dia suka apa nama tu berbohong sebagai contoh. Yeah, you can look at their eyes, you can look at their facial expression dan sebagainya. Right? Body language and so on. Yeah, jadi boleh menunjukkan bahawa mereka tu tak apa nama tu tidak jujur ya in their communication, they're not telling the truth and so on. Okay, so be aware of that. Yeah, as well. Okay, and also be aware of limitations when interpreting non-verbal messages. For example, non-verbal messages are often ambiguous, we've seen earlier on, yeah, because it can be intentional, it can be unintentional. Ya, kadang-kadang kita tak tahu sama ada ianya betul ataupun tidak, seperti yang kita jangkakan. Kalau ianya intentional, mungkin bagus. Tapi kalau ianya unintentional, tidak disengajakan, so that kind of action ataupun gesture tadi may mislead people, yeah, in terms of understanding your messages ataupun message yang nak disampaikan tadi. Ya, seperti saya katalah, saya pernah dianggap sebagai sombong because of the way I behave, ya, in the past. Ya, saya ni jenis yang agak reserve sikit, ya, agak reserve sikit. So people think that my behavior, that I don't really speak unless I know the person really well, was interpreted as sombong lah dalam bahasa Malaysia dia, right? So that is unintentional, yeah, is that not intentional. Okay, non-verbal messages are also continuous as long as the person is in your present. Jadi during the conversation, during the communication, macam-macam yang berlaku, ya, all kinds of non-verbal messages um, that you do, ya, throughout the conversation, ya. So yeah, so people, tend to do things in terms of non-verbal messages continuously throughout the communications, yeah, in your presence. And also non-verbal cues, multi-channel. Maksudnya di sini adalah you can see, you can feel, you can hear, you can smell, or you can even taste it. Yeah. Sorry, taste it is taste, like TASTET. Sorry, wrong spelling. Oops, why is that going back there? Kejap, ah. Sorry. Where was I? Okay, that's the one. All right. And non-verbal interpretation is also culture based. I think you have seen that earlier on lah. Interpretasi itu bergantung kepada budaya masing-masing. How to improve your skill in expressing non-verbal messages. Nanti untuk interpret non-verbal messages, but how do you improve for yourself to express your non-verbal messages? Number one is to be mindful of your non-verbal behavior. Kadang-kadang kita tak tahu. One way to go about doing that is to, kalau boleh lah, videotape yourself dan sebagainya masa berkomunikasi, and then try to determine what are the non-verbal behavior that you always do, more or less, yeah. So that is for you to understand how you do that, and also how to improve as well, yeah. So observe others' reactions to your non-verbal behavior. See if people are responding, yeah, ataupun reacting to your non-verbal behavior and so on. Contohnya seperti eye contact, seperti mimikan muka ataupun facial expression, body language, and so on and so forth. Ask others about your non-verbal behavior. Sometimes it's difficult to do, but that's one way to go about doing it, yeah, to find out about your non-verbal behavior, which you don't see, but others can observe or can see. Right? So you can ask others whether your non-verbal behavior is okay or congruent with the messages that you are trying to convey ataupun sebagainya. Yeah. Practice your non-verbal behavior. Ini boleh dilatih sebenarnya. You can train yourself, yeah, in non-verbal behavior. Contohnya kalau dulu pernah, every time you speak, and I've observed this in many occasions, friends, colleague who give speeches dan sebagainya, dia punya habit adalah putting his hand in his pocket. Itu satu behavior, satu practice, ya, satu form of non-verbal behavior. But you can change that, yeah. You can change that and practice so that it becomes your new accepted behavior. I'm not saying putting hands in your pocket is totally wrong, but to some people it may not be the right thing to do lah. Right? Ataupun putting your hands, folding your hands while speaking, for example, yeah, on a chest, something like that, may not be appropriate behavior, because that can be interpreted as being defensive dan sebagainya. Right? But you can practice. What you did wrong, you can correct. and practice on the right behavior. Okay. Now, I said the different kind of postures or apa nama, gestures and so on, yeah. But different culture has different meaning and practice it differently, yeah. So let's just look at some of this, yeah. In terms of posture, in terms of gestures, in terms of, first of all, in terms of facial expression, for example, right? And so on, yeah. In terms of posture, for example, contohnya bowing, which is quite normally practiced in Japan. In where else do you see this? In Thailand, yeah, to bow. In those in US, it's not done. People don't do that. People will just offer their hand and shake hand, yeah. Tapi in Japan, it shows some kind of rank, yeah, that you bow to the senior or to the apa nama, well-respected person dan sebagainya. I've seen badminton players, Thai badminton players, who always do this. After they finish the game, so on, they bow to the audience, to the referee dan sebagainya. Okay, that's a sign of respect. Jadi posture seperti itu mungkin tidak berapa sesuai ataupun tidak dilakukan di setengah negara in the West, in US, for example. Slouching. Slouching ini is also considered rude, yeah, in certain culture, right? So have to be careful lah, yeah, in what you're doing. So slouching is like sitting lazily, yeah, duduk kat kursi and then slouch back and so on, yeah. Itu tidak berapa baik lah, ya. Not only for your body, but also in terms of the image that you bring, yeah. So sit up straight would be the correct way to do, yeah. I said pocket, yeah, hand in the pockets. That is dalam budaya orang Turki, itu merupakan a sign of disrespect, yeah, to the person that you speak to or that you communicate with. Yeah. All right. What else? Gestures, pointing, for example. When you point something, in the US, you use the index finger. That's the norm. Yeah, that's the norm. Okay. Tapi kalau di Malaysia agaknya kadang-kadang tidak berapa sesuai, right? So use your thumb, yeah. In our culture di Malaysia kadang-kadang kita gunakan thumb, but index finger tu tak can be considered as rude, yeah. In Germany, for example, they use pinky, you know, pinky, your small finger, untuk menggunakan for purpose of pointing. In Japan, they use the whole hand, yeah, the whole hand, seluruh tangan digunakan. So it depends on the culture. So it's kind of respect and also the cultural acceptance lah, in a way, yeah. Jadi be careful also lah. So facial expression is also another where there are cultural differences. There are a lot, but I'm just pointing out a few here. Okay, for many Asian cultures, they suppress their facial expression. They do not care much about that, yeah, about his facial expression. Too much smiling, contohnya, is viewed as a sign of shallowness. So don't smile all the time, okay? Because it can be misinterpreted as being too shallow. Okay, what else? All right, so this is just an example, yeah, that not in all situation, yeah, that you can expect, yeah, that kind of non-verbal expression to be accepted. For example, eye contact. Western cultures, eye-to-eye, direct eye-to-eye contact is seen as something that is considered positive. Ya, perkara yang biasa dilakukan. Okay. But in Arabic cultures, for example, dalam kalangan orang Arab, making prolonged eye contact maybe acceptable, ya, ataupun unacceptable. Ya. Jadi it depends lah, ya. Depends on the culture. Japan, Africa, and also Latin America. Normally, people try to avoid eye contact. This is to that kind of culture because that shows kind of respect to the other person. If you look a person in the eye, if you're present in this kind of culture, you are disrespecting the other person that you're talking to. Itu dari segi eye contact. Ada dapat perbezaannya that although eye contact is a form of non-verbal communication, but at the same time, different cultures view it differently or interpret it differently. And touch, ya, ataupun haptics tadi, ya. In the US, handshake is very commonly done, ya, even with strangers. Okay, tapi dalam culture Islamic and Hindu culture, they do not touch with the left hand, and they also do not approve of touching between genders as well. Okay, even di negara kita sendiri pun begitu juga lah. Yeah, we don't really touch the opposite genders. Okay. What else? Many Asians also do not touch the head. Jadi sebab the head is considered as a very important part of your body. Yeah, it is the brain, so you don't really touch the head. Yeah, it's not quite acceptable. Yeah, in the Asian cultures as well. Tapi di negara lain mungkin okay. Yeah. Right. So to summarize, we are close to almost 11 o'clock now. To summarize what I've just seen or look at this morning, we have seen that non-verbal communication is a form of communication without words, without being spoken. Yeah, words not spoken. And we have seen also there are 6 principles of non-verbal communication. Right, and also several form of categories of nonverbal communication as well. So the skills to improve nonverbal communication include number 1, for you to be able to interpret, the nonverbal communication ataupun nonverbal cues tadi, and also at the same time to be able to express the non-verbal messages appropriately ataupun correctly. One is to interpret, and also for yourself to be able to express the correct, the appropriate non-verbal cues ataupun messages as well. Okay, so you must be aware that you constantly send non-verbal messages, whether you realize it or not, and that it is impossible for you to not communicate. Jadi, in other words, non-verbal communication is what you're doing every day, but the most important thing is for you to be able to understand and be aware that what you're doing and how you interpret those messages ataupun non-verbal communication or cues is also very, very important in your everyday communication. Okay, so that's all, but I just want to leave you with this, which you can see this link I have provided. I haven't uploaded the notes. I will do so as soon as we finish our class today, so that you can find the link to this particular You may have seen this earlier, I don't know. Some of the tips for improving non-verbal communication. If you click on that link just now, you can see some of these tips which are useful to me. Yeah. For example, paying attention to non-verbal signals, looking for incongruent behaviors. Ya, apa cakap tu dengan apa nama tu body language tu berlainan. Okay, look out for that. Yeah, because that can indicate that people may be lying. Yeah, berbohong dan sebagainya. Focus on tone of the voice as well, because it also brings a lot of information, whether the person is angry, whether the person is enthusiastic, ataupun interested in the topic of discussion and so on. Okay. Right. Use good eye contact. Again, be aware of the culture within which you perform it or practice it. Yeah, it is another essential nonverbal communication skill and a very important one as well. Yeah, and ask question. Yeah, asking question is also through the body language and so on. Yeah, whether or not what you're saying and also your behavior, your cues is indicating what you really mean to say, for example. Yeah, what's the meaning? So if you're confused about another person's nonverbal signals, don't be afraid to ask question. Yeah, just to confirm whether or not what you understood from the nonverbal messages tadi adalah karya yang sebenarnya. Yeah. And sometimes you use signals to add meaning as well. Yeah. Look at signal as a whole rather than taking one signal ataupun one cue. Okay. And also be aware of the context. Consider the context of where communication takes place as well. Right. Consider the situation and the context in which communication occurs. Some behaviors are accepted, some are not quite acceptable. Yeah, right. Apalagi be aware of that signal can be misread. Of course, ya. Kadang-kadang ini maksud kita mungkin baik, tetapi mungkin disalah faham, ya, kan oleh orang lain. Ya. Practice. This will help you to overcome the problem of in terms of your expression, yeah, expressing your non-verbal communication, so that people will not misinterpret what you are ataupun your message tadi contradicted, yeah, your spoken words, so messages ataupun verbal dengan non-verbal tu contradict each other. Right, so those are I think very useful. That's why I'm showing you this. Yeah, just to share. Some of you, as I said, may have seen this already before this. Okay, jadi you may not be. Oh ya, mungkin kamu tak nampak itu tadi kan? My apologies. Again, I was trying to show you, but you can click on that later on. Yeah. All right. So that's all for today from me. Any question or comment? We're right on the dot, actually, in terms of our timing. Tak ada. Then just stop the sharing for a moment. Okay. Any question or comment from anybody?
No,
No,
Tak ada. Let me share the QR code again for those who have not registered. Okay, kalau tak ada, itu sajalah, ya. So you may leave now. I'll see you again next week, same time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Tanya?
Yeah. Question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the assignment one, yang individual tu,
Hmm.
nak tanya, boleh tak Zah kalau saya guna weeks yang apa nama? Yang lama punya. Maksudnya saya gabung je dalam tu. Kan saya kena buat weeks baru.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I have never used Wix before.
Kalau guna Wix, dia boleh buat benda lain. Just pergi dekat website, buat new Wix tu. Lepas tu letak je nama course.
Maksudnya gabung je.
Gabung. Awak ada account ni tak?
New version. You're talking about new version, the latest version of Wix, yeah?
I use the latest versions. The space one. There's an apps dekat, dia ada aplikasi dia. You
So you
just
have
pergi
to.
dekat website account tu, just buat account, jangan buat account baru, dia just buka untuk course je. Dia boleh edit dari situ je.
Ya, yang itu.
Thank you for helping.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other issue?
Sir, for the movie review kan tahun movie tu tak kisah ke sir?
Tak kisah. Dia tahun
Oh,
70-an ke 50-an ke, doesn't matter. Maybe you find a lot of problem with the old movies. I don't know.
yes, like Ramli, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop recording now, and as I said, you may leave lah. Okay. I just have to make sure that everything is in order now.